I'm not sure if this is going to do any justice to the moment I'm having right now, but behind me over here is the sun setting on the ocean over the Tasman Sea, over towards what would be South Africa, somewhere thousands of miles that way. But I'm a lover of nature. I always have been. I'm a lover of solitude, but we're never alone. We're never alone. We're always surrounded by beings on frequency bands that are so close to ours that we can't perceive them through our five senses, but we can perceive them through our extrasensory perceptions. But we're never alone. We are operating on a frequency band that is so small, so tiny, so minute, and yet all around us, in the space all around us, are beings from all different levels of reality, all different levels of the multi-dimensional existence that are moving about us, are all around us, all the time, wherever we are, wherever we go. They're always there. And that's the beautiful thing about the nature of multi-dimensional existence when you truly understand it and appreciate it, is that you're never alone, even when you are alone. Now, I'm not sure if you're going to get a view of that behind me, but it's well worth watching, and maybe I will leave the camera there so you can see it as it's going down behind me and see the colour across the sky as it irradiates when the sun goes down. It reminds me of a very powerful time, which is the sunset and the sunrise. These two times to traditional cultures were times of power, and it reminds me of Carlos Castaneda's work and his work with Don Juan Matos when he performed Asking the Twilight for Power. Many years ago in the late to mid 90s, I was practicing Asking the Twilight for Power when I was living in a place called Little Huia, or Foster Bay actually. I used to go up to a mountaintop called Mount Donald McLean. When I used to go up there, I used to go up to a position on a platform looking out towards what would be, from here, looking out that way towards the west, what would have been at the time Tasmania, way off in the distance, thousands of miles away. I'd go up on this platform looking out over Wharapu Beach. I'd get completely naked, stripped down naked, and I'd perform this technique that Castaneda talks about in one of his books. I think it was Journey to Exelan, or maybe Tales of Power. I'm not sure what book it was, but I'd ask the Twilight for power. I'd do this process, I'd do this technique, and it was astonishing what I felt when I used to do it. I'd practice it to the letter, what he described, and I would always have these enormous rushes, like incredible power center rushes, as this energy would go through my body, and I would have this experience of this enormous chakra blazing energy rush up through my entire chakra system, smashing out the top of my head. I'd feel like I was on fire. I'd be standing there naked, often in a really strong norwesterly breeze, quite cold, standing there naked on top of a mountaintop after doing this particular technique, and stand there and be like, whoa, whoa, just on fire. It's charging with this energy, and it totally worked. It totally worked. That's where I think that Castaneda, people put Castaneda down and say it was all a fucking joke, it was all a hoax. But I don't think it was. I think Castaneda's work speaks for itself if you practice it. I think Castaneda was onto something. I think Castaneda's teacher, Don Juan Matos, was for real. For real. I think Castaneda's work was off the charts. I really, really have to get back into reading his books again and get more information from that traditional culture. Because I do believe the man of knowledge, shamanic practices that Castaneda taught from Don Juan Matos was off the charts and for real. It was beautiful. Look at that. And I think that Castaneda's work really rings true in today's culture, especially in regards to, for me anyway, how I choose to express myself and connect with nature and the spirits of the elemental forces that are around me, as I truly begin to appreciate that connection that I have with these forces and my own place and my own part of this. I feel so humble, and I feel the humility that I feel is necessary to connect with these beings in a way that is more shamanic. And was it 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago now. I began to practice shamanic dreaming with a woman called Pauline Wilson, who was my teacher for about 2 years in regards to the shamanic dreaming process. So 3 years ago, 2019 actually, 2019, 3 years ago, I began the process of shamanic dreaming. And my shamanic dreaming process in 2020 went to whole new levels, especially during the lockdown here in this country in April 2020. I went deep into the lower world and crazy into the crazy wild into the upper world. And that process for me took me to places where I would never even have conceived of. And the information that came to me through this process of the dreaming and my understanding of where I could go with it, and the revelations that came to me was so massive in regards to my own personal growth, but my understanding of the nature of reality, that I feel as though there is definitely now more than ever a strong pull back towards traditional cultures for me, and my understanding, my expression of my connection to nature, because the traditional cultures have understand for thousands of generations the nature of reality that science really is only beginning to understand now. Check this out. Hang on. How awesome is that? Yeah, so great. Over here we've got a new moon. You can see that? Hang on. No. Up there? I don't think you can see it. We've got a new moon. One of the most powerful things that I've learned about new moons through the Pleiadians' teachings has been under a full moon to get a piece of paper, doesn't matter how big a piece of paper is, A4, A5, and leave it out in the full moon to be charged and powered up. Full moon's energy and the reflection of the sunlight on that paper, charging it up with the energy of the moon. And then on a new moon, which we have up here, there we go, the new moon. Writing out your intentions with a new moon, writing out your intentions and putting all your energy and your emotive feelings and utilizing what I said before in regards to what you want to create through emotion, feeling, and visualization into that paper, and then leaving it and letting it go. And then not wondering how it's going to manifest in your life, but just letting it go. Just letting it go. And then moving on from there. So yeah, the last couple of years for me have been quite powerful in regards to the connection I have re-established with nature and the humility I have with nature now. Whereas before I was so stuck not so stuck, but I had a deep sense of materialism in my life that was lacking my connection to nature. I think the last couple of years, through my own personal shadow work, I felt this deeper connection with nature, and that's why coming here on this beach and seeing the sun going down sort of brought me into that place of remembering my connection to nature through the doorway, through the veil when it lifts between worlds, and the twilight and the dawn, the two times of power, according to these traditional cultures, the Yahweh and Yahweh traditional culture in Mexico, the two times of power, the dawn and the dusk, and feeling into that space, feeling into that energy, and remembering the veil is very, very thin then, and asking that twilight for power and getting this incredible surge of energy coming into my body that has empowered me and shifted my levels of consciousness incrementally sometimes, and other times really quickly. Truly beautiful.